I probably said it in 200, so just read it and you get a better description.
John?
Yeah.
80% of your success in physical conditioning is diet.
Is nutrition. There's no doubt in my mind. You know, it's funny because I've always, and I've told you guys in this before, I said, I'll give you 70% if you do CrossFit. I'll give CrossFit a little extra credit just because we work at high intensity levels. But it's 70 or more, and 80 is probably accurate even in CrossFit. Okay? I'm going to turn it to Maj for a couple pages, and then it's going to come back to me. I want to go through those numbers with you. Okay? Maj, it's you, my friend.
Yep. You guys, look at the page with the triangle. So
One more over.
back to this starts from pediatric development. If you want to develop an athlete as a child, the first thing is their food, right? The next thing is metabolic conditioning. Running, swimming, jumping, things that get your heart rate, cardiovascular up. That's got to come next. We make a huge mistake as parents. We enroll our kids in sports before they learn this, and this. But metabolic conditioning is next. Gymnastics, that just means control your body weight. Body weight control is huge. If you got these three, everything else is going to be easy in life. Control your body weight, learn how to throw. We call it weightlifting, but it's really controlling an external object. Whether it's a ball, a racket, a barbell, whatever. That comes next. The last thing we should be focused on is competing and being in sports. Unless you got these four down, you really shouldn't be here. I got a couple notes I gotta grab. The definition of CrossFit is somewhat, when you state the 6 words, it sounds so complicated, but it's constantly very functional movement at high intensity, right? Holy cow, that's complicated, right? What are we doing? We're constantly changing movements, right? So we got movements. Those 3 functional movements, vaguely speaking, are metabolic conditioning, gymnastics, and weightlifting. If we break those down into movements, let me get some crowd feedback. So I'll name the first metabolic conditioning movement.
Running.
Rowing.
There's my feedback. Rowing. Ooh, yeah, rowing.
Give me another one. Huh? Okay. How about swimming?
Yeah. Hiking.
Bike, hike,
Walking even.
walk,
Anything that raises your heart rate.
jump, cardiovascular, right? Cool. What are some gymnastics movements?
Handstands.
I'll start with the first one.
Pull up.
Pull up, toes to bar.
Push-ups. Sit-ups.
Push-ups, pulling, climbing, handstands, burps.
Oh.
Richard, give me a gymnastics movement.
Gymnastics movement, handstand push-ups, or
Okay.
Would squats be
even
one of
pull-ups
them?
or gymnastics.
Let's go.
Sure.
You do them right.
Squats.
Air squat,
Anything.
Muscle up.
planks,
Planks.
rings, bar work. Cool. That's a good list. All right. So there's a difference between lifting weights and weightlifting. Weightlifting is a sport. You get 2 scores, clean and jerk and snatch. Within that sport, there's a lot of accessory movements. And the functional movements in weightlifting are accessory movements that help you with the sport of weightlifting. So bicep curls is not weightlifting, that's lifting weights. A tricep push down or isolated movements are not weightlifting, that's lifting weights. So when we talk about functional movements and weightlifting and moving a barbell, we'll go from heaviest to lightest. Deadlift,
Back squats.
back squat, front squat,
Overhead.
clean, overhead,
Jerk.
that's overhead, snatch. And then in addition to those, we could add thrusters,
Socks.
bench press,
And the front to back
and
one.
sweep.
The back to front, whatever. Behind your head one.
Those are all
Overhead.
variations of overhead movements. So in your CrossFit book, on the page that says what is fitness, we have this thing called on number 2. It says the hopper method. So what's a hopper? Hopper is that thing that you turn and the bingo balls come out. We can sit there and put, you know, each of these movements on a ping pong ball and use that method. That was the original method of CrossFit, but that's very imbalanced programming. We don't do that here. What we do here is very balanced. So you have your 4 functional body movements: squat, bend, push, pull. You should never have a program where it's push, push, push. So our programming is variations of these movements, but it's very balanced. So for example, what did we do today? We did run. We did some gymnastics work, right? We did burps and toes to bar. And then we did deadlifts and clean and jerks. That was not coming out of a hopper. That came out of science and balance. So I want you guys to know, like, our programming here is a little bit different, and it's really balanced. Like, Thad and I put a lot of effort into the science and physiology and balancing out your body parts, and also not just during that day, but looking at the following day and looking at the previous day and making sure that your body parts are recovering adequately for the next day, and you know, you're not too sore. And that's why some of you guys are able to do this 5-6 days a week and recover. Next thing I want to talk about, why are we doing this? What is all this about? Why are we doing this?
I do it because it's fun.
It's fun, right? But we're training for stuff that we don't know we're gonna have, you know? It could be as, you know, a personal experience. I'll make it real short. I was stuck on top of a mountain at 10,500 feet with 2 kids and an 85-pound stroller, and I had to get down and back up 1,000 meters in a lightning storm. It was very dangerous, but it put me back into the zone of training to be able to get through that. I'm sure all of you guys have been in a situation. You had to change a tire, you had to, whatever you had to do. What we're doing is we're training for unknown, the unknown, and unknowable. That could be anything. That could be a heart attack. That could be cancer. That could be, you know, being in a physical situation, climbing over a fence. I don't know. But this stuff is going to make you be able to do all that stuff pain-free and injury-free. We went over a hopper method. Let's go over the energy pathways. You guys good with this? I'm going to erase this. This is so cool, the energy pathways. Who can name me the shortest energy pathway? Somebody read it. Come on. Phosphagen. What does that mean?
The ability of body systems activity lasting less than 10 seconds.
Okay. Give me a movement that uses the phosphagen pathway.
Push up.
Clean and jerk.
Clean and jerk. Love it.
Deadlift.
1 rep max stuff, right?
Yeah.
So 1 rep max. How about a golf swing? How about hitting a baseball?
Bowling.
Bowling. Yeah. So phosphagen, that's the shortest pathway, right? Once we get through that, the energy state that we train at most often in CrossFit is the second one. What's the second one? Anaerobic, right?
That's not what it says. Glycolytic.
Okay, we're gonna call it anaerobic or glycolysis. So this uses 34 times the energy as this. And then finally,
I know what
aerobic.
that is.
Go ahead. What's the name of the book?
Oxidative, right?
Oh, in the book.
So this is once we pass, 45 minutes. We'll say 3 minutes. For some of us, we can't even get here till like 14, 15 minutes. Like this guy. Okay? We spend the most time in here. What do we get out of this? Unfortunately, lactate. Right? We get sore. So let's talk about sports, okay? What we call complete sports. Did you see those 10 physical skills? You guys see those?
Yep.
Flexibility, all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's only a handful of sports where it's a complete sport.
Soccer.
No.
CrossFit.
You don't lift.
We'll start. That's the first sport that completely has all 10, right?
Gymnastics.
That's it.
Actual gymnastics.
There is no other sport. CrossFit's the sport.
I feel like wrestling's up there. Wrestling is not up there
Ice skating.
because you don't get here.
Ice skating? Yeah, ice skating.
That depends on how you do it.
MMA, ice hockey.
Yeah, ice hockey.
Rugby,
Oh, lacrosse. Maybe.
What's rugby?
water polo. Almost every sport is like missing one thing, right? There's a few sports that have everything, but there's only a handful of sports that have, we call them complete sports.
Cheerleading.
So we talked about constantly varying functional movements. We got all the functional movements. And then high intensity, what does that mean? We're doing stuff for time or for a score. That's what makes this a sport. So if you're doing stuff for time and intensity, you get something called neuroendocrine response.
NER. I made that up.
No, that's chocolate.
So if you're going to the gym and just kind of lifting weights and kind of doing your cardio, the whole traditional gym system, you're never going to get this. You're never going to get an insulin response. What are some other hormones that we're affecting? Serotonin, testosterone, right? Dopamine. Those are all,
I love dopamine.
yeah, we all love it.
When you're laying down on the ground dying after a
Donnie,
workout.
oh, the dopamine's kicking in. No, I'm not feeling it
They're
yet.
like, yes, I do. Good after you do something like when you
So the things that are required for intensity or neuroendocrine response are, number one, heavy load. Why do we do skill work at such low reps? Why aren't we doing 10, 12 rep sets? Because we're not going to get a neuroendocrine response. Number two, high heart rate, greater than 60% of your max heart rate. That's going to turn into a neuroendocrine response. And then other thing, sometimes we forget, is short rest in between our sets. No more than 1 minute in between our sets. Especially guys, you're going to get a boost in your testosterone when you're sleeping, when you have 1 minute rest. Great study on that. One of the things we're doing in here that you're not going to get in any other sport other than the ones we listed is the word power, right? What's power? Power is force. Distance. So the amount of mass that you move a certain distance over the shortest period of time is going to create the greatest amount of power. When you create more power, it's more work. Work is calories. And it all kind of translates into your caloric expenditure. And then the last thing I want to go over, because we got another class starting here, is just the different movements We've got some of them listed here.
That's just for this. That's two classes.
Oh, that's for that class coming up.
Yep.
And they're doing foundational movements.
That's it. Exactly right.
So the foundational movements, squat,
Back squat. Oh, squat. Press.
overhead squat, presses, deadlifts, sumo deadlift, high pull. That's also going to translate into kettlebells. Clean, GHD extension, and the sit-up. If you learn these movements, you can do every other movement in here pretty well. So when you see a skill in here one of the days, I prefer you guys to work on lower volume and get the technique down first before you start adding weight.
You guys know we coach it that way.
We
God
do.
forbid. Don't add weight till you get the thing down, because the skill work for gaining the increased weights is irrelevant if you're doing it wrong.
Might hurt yourself.
Yeah, then you're just get hurt.
You're destined to hurt yourself.
Destined, yeah.
Very few guarantees in life. That's one.
But that's one of them, yeah. Yeah.
The last word I'm just going to mention, virtuosity. That means the guy that's okay or pretty good at all of this stuff is going to be way more fit than the guy that's just trying to get that one thing. So you're going to be a better athlete and better at this sport if you're okay at everything, rather than, you know, trying to be just the best guy that can climb a rope. You know?
I'll give you a great example of that. Who's more fit? A bikini model on stage is completely ripped up, or a CrossFitter? I mean, that's not even close.
Yeah.
That's not even close.
Oh, okay, yeah.
One of them looks fantastic for about a moment. They got their body ready for a
For
contest.
that day.
But 6 weeks later, their body's back to normal. They didn't, but they're not healthy. They can't go run a friggin' mile. They didn't even get, you know, they have muscle, they've built muscle, but they don't have any functionality. So that's Maj's point is, with being one of the very few sports that offers all 10 of these areas, which is flexibility. I tell you guys about wall balls, about being accurate with your tosses. I mean, all that stuff is part of being able to fine tune a movement. And when you do fine tune it, you're just a much better athlete for it. So I want to just take 2 minutes because go ahead.